I got a microphone now. Would I like to say that I have a place to put the microphone that isn't visible and as tall as me? Yes. You're balancing on a box of tampons right now, so there's only so much I can do. I got the mic. Sorry if this sounds like ASMR. I've never had a mic before. The best I've done is like cheap headphones that you buy at a gas station, and they have a mic and it sounds all crunchy, crispity. So yeah, I will be adjusting to it. Hope you had a good holiday. Alpha and Omega is a family, action, adventure, comedy, animated film that was released in 2010, directed by Ben Gluck and Anthony Bell, who are definitely two real people. The movie follows two young wolves on a hectic road trip where they must come together to try to restore peace to their pack. Kate, voiced by Hayden Panettiere, is an alpha, meaning that she is headstrong, tough, and the next in line to be the alpha of the pack. Humphrey, voiced by Justin Long of Alvin and the Chipmunks fame, is the opposite. As an Omega, he's chill, a total slacker, and would rather spend his days making jokes than making waves. I too know an Alpha and Omega, and his name is the Lord Jesus Christ. Humphrey also has a fun little posse of wolf dudes, which is how we open the movie.
Guys, we're not moving.
As kids, the wolves are playing, and Kate and Humphrey end up having a moment. But she's called away by her father, Winston, to go to Alpha School, where she trains to be an alpha. Winston tells Humphrey that he will grow to be a clever Omega and will learn to keep the peace. He also says that alphas and Omegas can't... How does he put it?
Alphas and Omegas can't... how do you say it?
They can't freak it. Also, Kate can do like 1 billion front flips and back flips. This movie also features the voice of Christina Ricci as Lily, Kate's emo younger sister who looks like someone's very obvious OC. She literally has white fur and purple eyes with some of her fur in a side bang over one of her eyes. There are a lot of characters in this movie, and none of them look like her. The crux of the film is, of course, about class divide. Humphrey is in love with Kate, but can't be with her because she is an alpha and he's just a silly Omega.
Silly Omegas.
At one point, a character literally says, "Forget about it, Humphrey. Kate's an alpha now, and you're an Omega." So that's awesome. Throughout the movie, Kate must deal with the mounting pressure that is placed upon her by her father about the responsibility she has to her pack, which is known as the Western Pack. This distinction is important because a crucial plot point in this movie is the rising tension between the Western Pack and the rival Eastern Pack when disputes about hunting grounds begin due to a food shortage. They're like out of caribou in the Eastern Pack. Guess I should mention that these are Rocky Mountain wolves for all my wolf heads out there, and they live in Jasper National Park. The leaders of the two packs have a meeting about this crisis and decide that the best course of action is merging the packs together by marriage, meaning that Kate is expected to marry the Eastern Pack leader's son, Garth. They're set to meet at the Moonlight Howl, an event that is played in the movie like a huge party or a rave, but the implication is that this is where the wolves couple up to mate. The wolves howl together during this weird club song, and you start to realize that this is one big sex metaphor. I'm sorry. We see Humphrey's friends strike out with two wolf ladies, and Humphrey brags that the next lady who comes up the hill is his. There's like a decent amount of toxic masculinity and like the ideas of owning a woman, or like, I don't know. His friends kind of leer at girls a lot, and it's like played as funny and goofy, and like it's okay because they don't actually get any. But it's weird, and they're wolves, so it's like double weird. Obviously, Kate starts walking up the hill at that exact moment, and because she has a flower placed behind her ear, they all gawk at her and say she looks hot. Like, literally say word for word that she looks hot. Kate and Garth meet, and we learn that while he is a big, strong, conventionally attractive wolf, they're wolves. Garth is terrible at howling. He has a horrible voice. But since this is a sex metaphor...
Was it, good for you?
Kate, embarrassed and unimpressed, excuses herself to go be alone. There she runs into Humphrey, who had seen her with Garth and started to feel insecure and jealous.
Where's Barf?
Because he's in love with her. We know this from the beginning. He sarcastically tells Kate, I always like to take a break
10 minutes into a howl.
And my sister slowly turned to look at me as the sex metaphor continued. As they're walking, he makes fun of Garth's howling, feeling vindicated. Humphrey hits her with this absolute zinger.
Your, howling partner, he's not a stud, but like, it's like stud, but, a dud. Isn't he?
During this argument, both Humphrey and Kate are hit with tranquilizer darts and start tripping balls. I feel like this movie led to a lot of kids misunderstanding how big wolves are. When they wake up, they discover that they are no longer in Jasper National Park, but somewhere in a forest in Idaho.
Pack 'em up, boys. We're going to Idaho.
Humphrey falls off a mountain trying to keep up with Kate and is fine, so I'm led to believe that these wolves can withstand most blunt force traumas. Here, they meet a goose who likes golfing for some reason, Marcel, and his duck caddy named Patty. From them, they learn that they were most likely brought to Idaho to help repopulate the species in the area. I don't like Humphrey's face whenever they learn this. Meanwhile, in Jasper, chaos ensues as it is assumed that Kate ran off because she didn't want to fulfill her duty by marrying Garth. The Eastern Pact makes it clear that if she does not return, there will be war. Wolf war.
I'll give her till the full moon.
We also see the beginning of Lily and Garth's relationship as she shows him around the western side of Jasper, and they clearly have chemistry. Returning to the main plot, Kate and Humphrey face many harrowing situations that bring them closer together by force. They hitch a ride with this tiny little librarian lady and a big beefy biker dude who are like a couple that travels together. So Kate and Humphrey sneak into the back of their camper. Kate has a smoky eye. Also, she has a nightmare about an impending war. Humphrey goofs around. How does he know what a guitar is? How did he get a nose ring? On the way, Humphrey gets out of the camper to pee, but gets distracted when he smells a donut by a dumpster. He eats it and gets frosting all over his face, like his little snout area. So the store owner thinks he has rabies and points a gun at him, but gets literally tackled by Kate. Tries to shoot them both, but they escape back into the woods, losing their ride. Kate is rightfully pissed. Powerful storm begins, but Kate refuses to stop and tries to power through because she is hell-bent on getting home. She slips down a ravine and nearly gets swept away, but Humphrey swings in on a vine and saves her. Then Kate sees a piece of mess covered in mud and thinks it's Humphrey's corpse, but then he walks up behind her because he's okay. Don't worry, he's okay. They take shelter in a cave for the night, and Marcel and Patty catch up to them, scolding them for losing their ride. Humphrey flatters Marcel into telling him about a train that they could take to Jasper. They just have to cross a mountain. On the way, Humphrey finds a cute little bear cub and starts, playing with it in the snow, throwing snowballs and stuff, being a goober. But he accidentally hits the cub in the face with a snowball, and the cub starts to cry, and before he can comfort the baby, the mama shows up, and she is pissed. 2 more bears show up, also angry. Just cuz. The bears chase them down a mountain until they tumble off a cliff. They're hanging off the edge of the cliff for a long time, actually. And the bear literally breaks the tree that they're sitting on. He's mad. He is beefing with these wolves hardcore. It's not even the mom anymore. It's just this random one. And Humphrey's cracking jokes the whole time, which I think is funny. Make a joke, and then it's that trope where the bear, stops and considers if it's funny.
Hey, guys! You guys like jokes? Good. So 2 bears are eating a clown, and one of the bears says, "Does this taste funny to you?"
But they fall off the cliff. It knocks the tree that they were hanging on to loose, which splits into a perfect log canoe, just like we saw Humphrey and his friends riding at the beginning. He uses his goof-off skills to get both him and Kate on board the log, which they ride the rest of the way down the mountain until being flung onto a train. The exact train Marcel the goose said that they needed to be on! Once on board, they can finally relax knowing that they're headed home, and could it be? Kate is starting to realize that there's more to life than responsibility, and that it's okay to relieve stress and have fun at times. And Humphrey is learning that he needs to be more responsible and decisive and going for what he wants in life instead of just coasting by on jokes. We flash back and forth between Kate and Humphrey on the train and Garth and Lily back in Jasper. Garth is low-key sweet and supportive. He tries to help Lily with her hunting.
One, two.
He's really nice when she gets embarrassed because she's terrible at it, but then he does the gross boy trope where he moves her hair out of her face and calls her beautiful.
Your eyes. They're beautiful.
Lily has Alexandria's Genesis. Then the pairs howl together, and for some reason as a kid, this was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I still remember the melody specifically, like without having rewatched this movie, which I did for this video. I didn't need to because I have this movie memorized. The melody just like came back. But the childish joy that I get from remembering this movie is now squashed because we already established that howling is a sex metaphor. Did they boink on the train? I just want to understand, is it sex or is it not? They keep implying that it is, just tell me. After they howl together, Lily tells Garth that no one has to know.
Hey, yo!
Which is crazy. The Eastern Pack, literally all of them, catches them together on their way to take the valley, so Lily runs back to her dad. She's kind of like Paul Revere. Kate and Humphrey make it back to Jasper, and they're both relieved but disappointed. Kate admits that she had fun with Humphrey, but before Humphrey can confess his feelings, Kate gets pulled away by the sight of war. Both sides are posted up on either side of the valley, and they're all growling and snarling at each other, and she sees it from the train, so she pulls up to clear her name. Upon their return, Kate explains the situation, says that they were taken by park rangers, and Humphrey literally tells her parents to their faces that they were taken there to repopulate. Read the room, dude! And so obviously her mom, who has it's a running gag that she's incredibly violent.
If any of you wolves have hurt my daughter, I will personally rip out your eyes and shove them down your throat so you can see my claws tear your carcass open!
Jumps him, but Kate insists that Humphrey helps them get home. So she lays off, and she's actually like, wow, I like Humphrey now. Kate agrees to marry Garth once again, leaving Humphrey behind. But at least he has his boys. Humphrey brings Kate a flower to wear at her wedding and tells her he's leaving Jasper. Bro cannot stand to see Kate with another wolf because he's in love with her. So he decides to abandon his boys. Kate and Garth prepare to marry and begin the wedding ritual. They accept each other's scent.
They're accepting each other's scent. Oh, and now the nibble on the ears?
And they touch noses or something. But just as they are about to seal the deal, Kate pulls away. She realizes that she can't do it, and Garth literally cheers.
I mean, you can't?
She admits that she fell in love with an Omega. Humphrey's boys realize that he's the one she's talking about, which is a funny moment. You see them being like, Humphrey, that's my dog. Garth then admits that he fell in love with an Omega too, and runs over to Lily, and then his dad gets so pissed that he starts the war. All of that chaos triggers a caribou stampede. The second one in the film, but the first one I've mentioned. Tony gets a crick in his back while trying to run away as they all scatter to the sides, and Winston runs in to save him, his enemy.
It's a darn disc in my back!
Old man Yowie? Humphrey comes back for Kate just in time to see the trouble, and they hop on a log, once again, to save the two pack leaders. They fly in, and the old dudes use the log for cover, but as Kate and Humphrey start to crawl back to get underneath the log, Kate gets kicked in the face by a caribou, so Humphrey jumps out and shields her with his body. As he thinks she's dead, Humphrey finally admits his love for Kate, and the wolves begin mournfully howling. Even Tony gets a soulful howl in. But then, Kate opens her eyes and gets up. Not dead. She whispers in his ear, and his tail wags, which I think is a cute detail, and they sit and whisper and giggle to each other in front of everyone, and Winston decides that an alpha loving an omega wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. In the end, Her father sees how much Humphrey cares about her and allows them to be together, which frees up Garth to be with Lily, his emo queen. I really do think that they're cute together. I'm always a sucker for the emo shy girl getting with the boisterous jock. At the end, as in most 2010s animated family, comedy, adventure movies, there's a big party scene, which is crazy because it's the Moonlight Howl and it's still a sex metaphor. Can we get a playback on Tony howling with those men? So that's Alpha and Omega, the weird animated wolf movie from my childhood. And this movie, I should mention, has 7 sequels. This is one of 8 Alpha and Omega movies. I'm not touching those with a 10-foot pole. You can't make me. But I will inform you that Kate and Humphrey do end up having 3 pups, like in the very next movie, allegedly, and their names are Stinky, Claudette, and Runt. I'm sorry. I don't really have that much to say about this movie other than I'm sorry that I'm making you know about it if you didn't, but also, you're welcome. I was obsessed with this movie as a child. It was one that we watched in the car a lot. I have it on DVD. I was obsessed with wolves. I used to pretend to be a wolf on the playground, and I somehow didn't grow up to be a furry, just like a furry ally. I do think there's something to be said about the 2010s just being a huge time for media about animals, especially media for kids about animals. We were all just really into them for some reason. Not like that, just in a fun, wholesome way. I liked to learn about wolves specifically. I mean, think of the Warrior Cats books and all of the spin-off series. I was obsessed with this one called Wolves of the Beyond because I liked wolves. There was also Seekers about bears, Guardians of Ga'Hoole about owls, Wings of Fire about dragons, which is also still running. So I think we were just really interested in wolves. I think kids today still are. So I assume this movie would have been a hit with the furries of yesterday. And hopefully now that I've shared all about this film, it'll be a hit with the furries of tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I don't know what else to say. Whoa. Thanks. I'm 23 years old.